Well, Winnipeg Theatre Company is offering a theatrically good time for families that are still feeling the impact of the devastating wildfires that have taken place across the province. Oshkagoojin Theatre for Youth is hosting drama-based workshops for impacted families this week. Nova Courchene is the artistic director of Oshkagoojin Theatre and joins us to tell us more about these programs. Wonderful to see you, Nova. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So maybe you
Yeah.
can, yeah, maybe you can start off for those who might not be familiar with your company. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about Oshkagoojin and the work that you are doing.
Sure. So I've been a drama educator for the past 10 years, been in theater for almost all of my life. I was developing Indigenous led with knowledge and traditional knowledge infused into theater work for the past 6 years. And I ventured out on my own this year to start my own theater company that blends that traditional knowledge of Anishinaabe and Nehewak, or so Ojibwe or and Cree knowledge, as I have picked it up in ceremony and throughout my life as an Ojibwe woman. And so I've been running outreach, which is me going to communities to provide this special flavor of theater, and having a really great time teaching kids about their culture, their language, and their knowledge. And so we thought it would be fitting to give that back to the community for the evacuees that are still in Winnipeg as of this week.
Yeah. So you talk about all these learnings and all of this education that you have done both in theater spaces as well as in various cultural settings there. I'm very curious about how you, as the artistic director of Oshkagoojin, take those sort of traditional sorts of teachings, and then how does drama become an educational tool to pass along those teachings and those learnings?
Yeah, so storytelling was the way that our people passed on knowledge, passed on stories, passed on legends. And that is the basis of a lot of the theater that we work with. And so we definitely infuse trickster knowledge. We have a seven teachings puppets unit. We also have that have the puppets of the seven animals that go with the seven teachings. We've also introduced the 13 moon lunar calendar that both Ojibwe and Cree people use, and it's based on the land. And it's just a really nice way for the kids to remember how their ancestors lived and how their families live today based on that calendar. And then we also have we incorporate things like movement, storytelling, mask making, and puppetry in all those elements to help bring those stories and just to make it really fun to play.
It sounds like it's a really fun way to play. You've already done one iteration of these workshops for those who were displaced by wildfires over the past couple of months. How did that go, and how well was it attended? What was that? What did it look like?
Yeah, so we went to them. We made sure that it was easier served by being at the location that the youth would be at. So that's the hotels that are across Winnipeg. We're figuring that out for this week as well. So we'll have more information once we know. And it's attended quite well because those kids, they're not, they don't have to go to school right now. So having somewhere to go to hang out has been really fun, and they love the puppets. They love talking about the seven teachings that come with each animal. A lot of different nations across North Turtle Island have adapted the seven teachings, and so we use it with them to kind of go over what some of those really important teachings are about our society and how we deal with each other. It's been beautiful chaos. So there's been, we do it in the activity rooms in the Best Western. And then in the evening, we go to the Pizza skate park, which can also be beautiful chaos with kids skating, but also us trying to teach them a little bit about the 13 moons in the land, and a little bit about a lot of drama games. And a lot of drama games are just playing to kind of activate the actors, young actors' voices and bodies, and getting that kind of education sort of all packaged into one beautiful unit.
What have you been hearing from the families who have been attending these workshops so far about the role that this sort of activity has played in their lives as they're still facing so much uncertainty?
Yeah, I think they appreciate the fact that we're around to hang out with their kids so they can get a little bit of a much needed time for themselves. And I think that's just really where it's really important to keep our kids safe and cared for. And that's just one of the roles that we've taken on, as we also kind of try to play games with them and keep their interest and go over a little bit of storytelling. And I think that those families just appreciate that. And I think it's really culturally relevant because not everybody got the chance to learn about these traditional pieces and the knowledge. So having them kind of incorporate it, we're just making it very easygoing so that they can pick it up and plant seeds, so that they can ask their grandparents or their parents about some of the traditional knowledge that we bring with us too. So we're hoping that sort of rounded connection happens after the workshops.
It's, yeah, planting a seed, as you say, for those who may not have had the same sort of cultural education as others, and it's really a great way to establish a baseline. It sounds like it occurs to me also that within this different excuse me, within this different sort of environment that people are learning these cultural traditions, that there might be people from other cultures that might be mixed in here as well. Are there, maybe you could speak a bit to the type of child that is attending? Are they mostly from Indigenous communities, or are there some others that are able to learn from this kind of drama education as well?
Yeah, so I've just started my own company to kind of share that knowledge. But I do outreach as a theater educator myself, and I have gone to schools and I have gone to other communities that are not predominantly First Nation to share a little bit about what I've have in my tool belt for my knowledge and their consideration in a way that is sort of built for reconciliation, and really kind of trying to understand that we all have more in common than we do have differences. Because there's one unit that I also teach about the creation story about Sky Woman from the Algonquin Ojibwe, sorry, the Great Lakes Ojibwe. While it's not told as much in Manitoba or stretching out into the prairies, it's still a really great way to kind of explain that everybody across the globe have their own reasons, their own stories, and their own versions of this creation story that helps explain. And so sort of going over those commonalities are more important than I think, and getting our voices heard in that way is really important. And for the most part, most of the kids that are at our wildfire evacuee camps are from Indigenous communities.
Yeah. I would imagine also that something like this, while it's wonderful to have this opportunity for an activity as these families are facing uncertainty, that there is perhaps a sense of rooting in culture that helps in a moment where kids are feeling a little bit uprooted or unsettled. What role do you think that drama has to help those who are in somewhat perilous situations when it comes to their community and their connection to the place where they come from?
Yeah, so we're in partnership with the MKO, the Manitoba Kuwait. I always get this one mixed up. Omaga, something to do with
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
leaders. That's the word in Cree, and with Mamawe, and so they understand how important it is to kind of keep spirits up when it comes to times like these. And I think me and my team are strong believers that this kind of knowledge about land and about our interconnectedness is a really important positive way to look at how we're going to move forward as a group of people that all share this land. And so I think that's I think it's really important to send our Indigenous kids their voices and their traditional knowledge so that they're equipped with that when they go out into the world after they finish school and they're out and about. So I think
Yeah.
that's a positive thing to equip them with.
You mentioned that the details for where these workshops are happening this week still a little bit up in the air. Where is the place where people can find out more information about these workshops, where they're taking place, and most importantly, how to register their child if they haven't already?
For sure. So the Oshkagoojin on Stage social media for Instagram and the Oshkagoojin on Stage on Facebook. There's also a website if you type in Oshkagoojin, and you can go to the storytelling bookmark, which also has my email and contact information on there to get in touch with either myself or Heather Russell Smith, who's been helping me with getting our classes together, registration, and making sure everyone's safe.
Wonderful. We'll link all of that information at our website, classic107.com, and the Classic 107 app. Nova Courchene, thank you so much for joining us on the program today and for telling us more about these remarkable workshops that Oshkagoojin Theatre is hosting for those affected by these devastating wildfires.
Oh, thank you so much.